Image review. Image review. Hey, it's Antti. I think it is time to do another of these image reviews. I asked you to send pictures to this Facebook group and the subject was reflections. So let's check out what kind of images you send this time for me to review. And one thing I have to mention first. These are just my opinions of your pictures. So if for some reason you get offended about these my comments or whatever, I think this is not for you. So, but if you want to learn something or get some kind of a feedback, maybe this is for you. So let's check out your pictures, what you sent out. I think there's a couple of really amazing ones in the mix. And I'm really happy from all of you that sent pictures to my review, because it's really fun to kind of see what the other persons are doing in the kind of a narrow subject. So let's go into Lightroom, where I have imported already all the pictures, and I'll start reviewing those. Before I go any further, be sure to check out my brand new workshop that I just had it finished. Digital Artist Masterclass is available now. By the end of February it will be in discount, so be sure to check out that workshop if you want to get your pictures to a next level. Link here and also in the description. Peace. Alrighty, as I said, my subject this time was reflection or reflections, and the first picture is a bunch of apples on, I think that's a glass, or then it's just a black acrylic thing. One thing that I could kind of see definitely from this picture, when you're doing these kind of pictures, be sure to pick up the best apples you can find, or then retouch these kind of a dents of the pictures, especially this small dent here. And another thing, when you're lighting these kind of round and these kind of objects, maybe you could try bringing the light closer or use a slightly bigger light source to get more. This gives kind of a harsh highlights in these pictures, but if you bring the light closer and then actually when you're shooting like pictures like that, you could place the light behind and high up to apples, so you'd get like shadow light contouring. Usually when you're shooting products, it's better to place the light slightly behind the elements. I mean, it's a good shot. Could be done better if you experiment with these apples, get a different layouts and choose the apples carefully and kind of experiment with the light. I mean, it's a good reference shot of apples on a glass, but could be made more interesting. Next up, I think I really like this image. There's some kind of a moody feeling in this image. Only thing that I would mention is maybe this part. It looks like a bit of a dark blob of area, because there's a light hair here and then it just turns into really dark area. I really love the expression of the person, and especially in the mirror. The lighting is good, but the only thing is my eyes is drawn in this darker area here. It kind of takes away from that picture. So if you hear any rattle, there are some gerbils there, and they are, you know, eating, I think, their way out of the cage. I don't know. Again, reflection. I think this is a great portrait of a small boy. Good in a way engagement. There's a couple of places that are slightly hot. This forehead and this hand. So those takes away. And I don't know about the cropping, should it be all the way up here? There's a bit of an empty space here and it's really tight here. You could try a different cropping. Would it work better to crop it as a horizontal the same way, or you know, I like this picture a lot. You don't need to look straight in the camera. It's more like he's thinking what is going on. Great shot. I like the tones in the background too. Okay, there's some fitness shots here. There's a couple of things that are definitely drawing my eye away. Are these lines in the mirror, and then you'll kind of vaguely see the background, happy place. It's kind of hard to it could be all black and maybe retouch these lines of. Don't know either of the hand weights, but this is not, when you're shooting through mirror, you have to be really thinking how to shoot and where you're aiming. But this kind of a edge light, I think it works nicely, but these lines are just drawing my attention away. Here's a reflection of a boat. It seems that it's a longer exposure, definitely because of the water has been calmed down. I think maybe the format could be to make it look more, in a way, interesting. The square format is really, in a way, tight on my taste. Especially I don't like these drop shadow frames. You could try cropping it out, and if you have any room to your right, have it like a wide angle shot, because the boat is really long. I think that would emphasize on the boat and the kind of the shape, to have it not square but maybe a more rectangular shaped image. Could use some color grading, look straight from the camera, maybe a bit of a vignetting, something like those small things. Alrighty, more like a product shot, really nicely done. I think they're shot separately and then composed in together. This is not the easiest thing to do, get this kind of a splashes, and the photographer, whoever did these, have definitely took a lot of shots to get these randomness splashes into the pictures. I like the colors. Could be a straight product shot for these kind of a champagne glasses or whatever they are. Really top quality, really nice retouching, good idea behind it. Okay, then longer exposure pictures. I think it's from some of these Finnish castle, Suomenlinna or Olavinlinna, maybe. I don't know. I like the feel because you can see the wind in this picture. The photographer has definitely used a tripod to shoot this, and maybe even an ND filter to get long enough exposure to get that water to be that smooth. And I don't mind about the leaves also sheen, because you can see that there's a bit of a wind going on. Nice composition, not much bad things to say about that. I don't know if it's in Finland. Looks really Finnish. This picture was actually a kind of a moving picture sent to the Facebook group, and there was this part of the window was moving. Otherwise, it was like these cinemagraphs. I think it was a really cool concept to have these things. You can go into Facebook group and see this. I think it was really cool. And I really like cinemagraphs. They bring something more to the pictures, and we could kind of test out sometimes to do cinemagraphs ourselves. So maybe we'll have a subject on that maybe sometimes. I think it would be, as an architectural shot, I think it would be cooler if all these people weren't there and then just moving clouds. That would be a more graphic. All right. This is definitely really cool. It's actually really hard to say if it's a composite or not, if it's a real reflection or not. I think it's not a real reflection. I think it's just a flip out thing, but still it definitely makes you think that there's a real water reflection, and your eyes go straight into this shape here. It's in the thirds. There's nothing bad to say about this picture. It's, you know, these art pieces that you could definitely hang in your wall. I like these kind of fine art pictures. There's actually some reflections here on the water. Then kind of a architectural picture. I think it's a great capture of the bird flying. I would rather see the bird maybe sharp. I think there's a bit of a too much blur in to make. But again, of these architectural art pictures, I think it's a good job. Really nice, interesting lines. Okay, more architectural pictures. I don't know what that is. If the reflection is, looks like it's like some kind of a table, or could be a piano surface or something old. Nice texture. It's not the floor, because the floor is going down here and it's not wet, so it has to be some kind of a surface that kind of reflects. So it's kind of an intriguing picture, kind of start seeing that what's going on in this picture, what is the reflection. I like the color palette, it's dead center. I like the symmetry of it. Really cool. Okay, then some leading lines to the really interesting. I wonder what that is even. It looks like could be, it's a pier to this wooden thing. I really like how the picture is guided to kind of to see what there's to see. I like this, the kind of the misty feeling. There's grain, it doesn't matter. I think it's a great capture. Again, a fine art piece to put on a wall. Excellent job. Then a glass reflection. I don't think I'm not that fond of the yellowish color. I like the concept of these chili things in that the glass looks interesting, and the chili, but there's something, I think could have done a bit of more retouching, because the background is uneven slightly. The shadows are slightly weird in this, and actually the reflections goes really weird. It might be actually a composite image. Yeah, I think the reflection doesn't work like this. But you don't see it straight up, but I think that is the thing. It might be actually a composite, the reflection. Interesting. So, at the first glance, when you start looking at the picture, my eyes go straight to here. So there's a guy, really the lightest point in this video. Then you your eye moves on this area. And the last thing you see actually is the violin. I didn't kind of register that in the first glance, so I didn't even register that it was a person. So it was for me at the first glance, it was actually a piece of clothing. So we could try to emphasize on this that it is an artist or a violin player. I don't know. I think the styling. There's like a winter jacket there. I don't know where the story goes. I think the person should be playing to get the idea of that he's a violin player. I like the kind of the triple reflection that the glass is bringing, but there's something that could have been done slightly better. The hottest point is here, and then the emphasis on the player itself to bring out the story, not just have an outside shot in a winter jacket with the violin. That's, you know, I think you can push this further. Okay, then a miniature cars, it seems like a reflection of a other car. The only thing that the few things that are bothering me is that it looks that it's, since there's a horizon, the toy car is just a little bit off to the side, like in the angle. So that bothers me because it's not straight. The other car here is straight, but this is like just a little bit. And those things, you could fix those. I think concept-wise, I think it's a great concept to have a smaller car and bigger car as a reflection. I've seen these, like there's a kitten and the lion in the reflections. But you can kind of push this further. Again, like a window reflection of a person. I think this is a good kind of a... actually, it's so sharp reflection that you don't know which one is the real one. I think this is the real and this is the reflection. Background, brick walls. You could, in these situations, you can walk around and see if you get more interesting backgrounds on the other way around, or how you angle it. Kind of a basic reflection shot. Nothing that bad to say about it. So this is I think it's like a cobblestone street with the reflection, and it feels that it's actually flipped, because it looks like it's up there, but that makes it interesting because you can see the house now in right away. I think I like the colors, I like the shape of a rectangular, like a panoramic thing. Actually could work really good in black and white. Let's try my... Would it make it more interesting to have it on black and white? Well, just to try. Nice, I really like this shot. Okay, then some fish. I think that's a nice, different kind of reflection of the water surface of the. And this is again not possibly the easiest thing to capture. I think it's a great concept, and you could do almost like a series of these different fishes in these reflections. Maybe that could turn into a series. Okay, some mirror work. The background. I think the thing that throws me off is this really light room here, and then the really blue background here. I don't know if it's a composite or not. You see the backdrop. Could it be a backdrop looking like this? I would love to see more on the person and not that much of a behind her. So I think there's more into the females. So angle it differently, so you'd get expressions, you could get a pose also from the person in the mirror. And there's something distracting from the really light room and the blue background, so maybe to bring those to the same world, or I don't know. And I think it's cropped really tightly on here and here. When you cut right on the feet, I think that's not something that I'm looking for. Okay, this is like a travel shot of a photographer taking picture of, I think that's like a window a person. It's really hard to kind of understand what is a reflection, what is a mirror, and what is a real picture, but that's why I really like it. A great travel shot. Maybe they are traveling together. The other one is also, so the other one is saying that hold on, I will just take a cool picture. There's a story of these old motorcycles. Could be somewhere in Italy or wherever. Nice tones. The texture is in the surface is fitting to this. I really like the story of these two guys are traveling together in some countries, and the other one decides to take a shot. Only complaint is the hand position of the photographer. I would prefer to have it under my camera. Not, I mean, that's just as me. Oh, this is nice. Kind of a grand piano thing. I really like both of the reflections and the focus goes straight here. I like the leading lines. Only thing that I would fix in this picture was to kind of clear out the background from all this mess. If it would be this kind of a stone gray background all the way through, I think that would be a way much stronger image then. But otherwise, I think it's a really cool picture. Another kind of reflection portrait. For my taste, I think it's slightly underexposed. I like the eerie feeling of, because you don't know what the reflection is coming from. There's like a fabric between, but you don't see the clearly the eyes. I always like to have, I would say, like a highlights in the eyes. So the eyes are now in the dark, and I think it's slightly underexposed. Concept-wise, really cool. Then some pumping some iron. I like the shape of the head. Looks like a skull. I don't know how would my head look like that if I would do that. Probably. I really like the symmetry. I like the tones. Only thing, the couple of really highlights in here because of the bald head. But everything is, as this kind of a gym shot, it's kind of a not your typical gym shot. I really like the simplicity of it. Nice tones, nice reflection. Woman, she's not having the best day of her life, it seems. I always wonder how these persons got into the stone, just because you can clearly see there's a big of a leap. Couple of things, maybe lift yourself slightly higher to get the position. This line here, the horizon line, cuts the head straight up here, so that would be better to have it here, or then you could go even lower to have it somewhere around here. I like the reflections. Brings the story. I like the mood of the picture. There's some, you know, as a story, she's not having the great day of her life, or then, you know, and maybe get rid of that tower over there just to make it. But the most important thing, this horizon line, maybe slightly up or low. Again, the reflection like a typical winter scene. That's what I'm seeing outside now. -20 outside. Don't like it anymore. Too cold. The only thing, I think this would work, just a black and white image. I think there's a weird purplish tone in this image if you look at it. So I would try to do this only in black and white, really high contrast black and white. I think that one might work really nicely. Then a bird. I think this is a typical kind of a bird shots. Might be even interesting if you might go even lower. You would get a bit of a horizon. Really tight square shape. Let's put the bird in the middle. I would like to see some of the horizon, or I would like to see it rectangular. Not everything should be in the center. This is more like a reference shot of a bird. for me, it could turn out to be fine art in a way, more interesting picture if you crop it differently, search for different angles, not maybe even way lower to get more interesting. Okay, so there was 26 photos, and as always I will think of one of these pictures and I will give you the Digital Artist Masterclass workshop access from though to you. And I would say that even from these pictures I would give it, oh, this is hard, there's a couple of pictures that I really like, but yeah, I think I'll go with this. There's something really cool in this picture, the textures, the story of the this is a great shot. So whoever made this one, I will contact you and I will give you access to my Digital Artist Masterclass. If you like these videos, put a thumbs up. If you want to that I make more of these, please subscribe my channel, comment whatever you thought about these pictures. Do you have any suggestions for next themes that I would like to push? Put a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you want to see me more doing these. And I think that's it. I will be seeing you on my next videos. Cheers.